Hello everyone, welcome to ShailajaIAS and welcome to the PYQ Decoder class. Today we are continuing with the class 2 of geography session. So we'll see the first important theme in this class and the important questions that have been asked in the last 6 years UPSC PYQ. While doing this, you should not only just go through the questions but also understand from which important themes, core areas of the syllabus these questions are coming from, and what are the format of the question, what is the format of the question, complexity of the questions that has been set, and how to tackle, how to decode, and how to study, prepare for the 2026 prelims based on this UPSC PYQs and how to focus these important themes. I have segregated the last 6 years geography questions into 6 to 7 important themes in the next 6 classes. Okay, in the next 6 classes I will be taking these 6-7 important themes and will be taking the UPSC PYQs of these themes and decoding through PYQs, how to study, what is the format of the questions, okay, how to logically deduce, how to see the traps kept by the examiner and get the answer, and make sure you get those marks in 2026 prelims by decoding PYQ. So without wasting further time, we'll start the class. This theme, what we are doing is we are going through the core of geography, which is geomorphology and Earth's physical process. When you say geomorphology, one, building process, right, diastrophism, and one you have breaking or the denudation process, and all the agents linked with this becomes very important. Then Earth's physical processes starting from solar, right, universe, okay, sun and its planets, solar, sun and its planets, origin and evolution of universe, some of the astrophysics topic. Okay, one question has been asked in this area. Okay, science and tech you can take, or geography if you take. In astrophysics, okay, what is dwarf planet? What is red dwarf? All these questions come from those. What are pulsars? What are nebula? Okay, nebulae. All these questions come from astrophysics. And sun and its solar system. Okay, the solar system, sun and its planets, asteroid belts. One question, meteorites, one question might come from those topics. Then you have, okay, the earth itself. Okay, the layers of earth. Question will arise from this. Okay, and to study the earth, how will you study? Earthquakes and earth's magnetism. Questions are coming. Then volcanoes, rock cycle of earth, okay, your igneous rock, your sedimentary rock, your metamorphosis rock, okay, all this rock cycle, volcanoes, earthquakes, okay, magnetism. Questions will come directly on these topics. Then you have oceanography, climatology, okay, pressure systems, okay, the core, the theoretical concept of the geography, you need to have very good conceptual clarity. When you have that, any application question that comes in the UPSC will be easy for you because you have the clarity of the concepts and you should be able to deduce from those concepts the answers or the statements whether they are right or not. So we'll see through PYQs. First question is based on continental drift evidence. Alfred theories, right? Continental drift theory given by Alfred, right? So based on the evidences, what evidence he gave? Okay, we have continental drift theory, then we have sea floor hypothesis, then we have plate tectonics, right? Important theories with respect to how Earth's continents and ocean reliefs became now what it is. So we have continental drift theory given by Alfred, then seafloor, then plate tectonics theory. So what are the evidence given by continental drift theory? Question had come in 2025 with respect to geomorphology. We'll see the question. Which of the following are the evidences of the phenomenon of continental drift theory? The belt of ancient rocks from Brazil coast matches with those of Western Africa. Yes, the zigzag hypothesis, right? Or the jigsaw fit, where these two continents had joined before and they got separated. However, okay, the rocks, ancient rocks, which are in the Brazil coast of South America, matches with that of Western Africa. Okay, next, gold deposits. This is with respect to placer deposits given by Alfred Nobel. Gold deposits of Ghana are derived from Brazil Plateau, where the two continents lay side by side. Based on the gold deposits, even though they don't have any gold ore, but this placer deposits of gold found in Ghana is derived from the Brazil Plateau. Next, Gondwana system of sediments from India is known to have its counterparts in 6 different land masses of the southern hemisphere. Okay, what are these? These are Tillite deposit. Tillite deposit. Please tell in the comment section what are the other evidences Alfred gave in respect to continental drift theory. Why it failed, you need to know. You need to know the seafloor hypothesis and plate tectonics, which is scientifically now, okay, accepted after proved. So you need to know the scientists, you need to know first of the concepts clarity, then you'll be able to answer. Here answer is 3 pair or 1, 2, 3 asked in 2025, my friends. This is a direct question, easy question. If you have gone through and understood the concepts, directly is asked. Okay. Alfred Wegener include the Jigsaw Fit, then placer deposit, then Tillite deposit. Statement 3. Statement 1 with respect to Jigsaw Fit. Statement 2 is with respect to placer deposit. Statement 3 is Tillite deposit. So all the 3 statements are the evidences given by Alfred Wegener. Okay. We'll go to next question. This is with respect to basic property of types of soil. Okay, soil and its properties. Soil, its types and properties. What properties he has asked in 2025? Permeability and porosity. Okay, what is porosity? Porous. Okay, it should have gaps where air or fluid can enter. Permeability, it should be able to absorb liquid. Mainly we'll say water. Whether it is readily absorbing any liquid, that means whether it is permeable. Okay, permeable membrane we'll study in cell. That is, to and fro motion can happen through that membrane. Okay, liquid or water can move through that membrane or the layer, that is permeable and porosity. Now we'll see here, see 3 statement questions have been asked in particularly geography. Here first statement is right. See the options first. 2 and 3 is correct, both explains 1. 2 and 3 correct, only 1 explains 1. Only 1 of 2 and 3 is correct and explains 1. Neither 2 or not 3 is correct. So examiner is not asking about statement 1 at all. And statement 1 is definitely right. That is what examiner is giving you through options, okay, telling that the statement 1 is right. Okay, don't need to bother, and you need to have cause effect relationship. See, independently statement 2 and statement 3 might be right here, my friends, but for this statement 2 and 3 to explain statement 1, you need to have cause effect relationship. Just like how before we added two statements, and whether statement 2 is explaining statement 1, here you have to individually check whether statement 2 is explaining statement 1 and whether statement 3 is explaining statement 1. Statement 1, it is implied that that statement is valid, because in the options itself, examiner is suggesting that you need not go through with respect to thinking whether statement 1 is right or wrong. That statement is valid. That is implied in the option itself, my friends. When this kind of question comes, see the option, then statement 1 is implied. You need not check whether statement 1 is right or wrong. You need to only check whether statement 2 is right, whether statement 3 is right, and which of these two statements, or both the statement explaining the statement 1 or one of the statement explaining the statement 1, or neither of them explaining. Those are the options given here, my friends. So we'll see here. In the context of effect of water on rocks, chalk is known as very permeable rock, whereas clay is known as quite an impermeable or least permeable rock. If you have gone through clay soil, it won't absorb the water very easily. Okay, and the soil also become very rock hard when little bit moisture is taken off, because clay is not very permeable easily. However, the chalk is easily permeable. Okay, very permeable, but clay is not permeable. This statement is valid, my friends. Based on that, see if statement 2 and 3 is making sense and it is explaining statement 1. Chalk is porous and hence can absorb water. Yes, see cause-effect relationship. Rock where clay is known as quite an impermeable. However, chalk is known as very permeable. Chalk is porous and hence can absorb water. Yes, this is correct. And this is explaining statement 1. So statement 2 is correct. It explains 1. Now you see statement 3. Clay is not at all porous. Is it true? Just because it is extreme statement doesn't mean it has to be wrong. But you need to know the concept or properly understand the properties of different types of soil. Clay soil or clay is also porous. So statement 3 is wrong. So 2 and 3 is correct? No. Only one of the 2 and 3 is correct. That is statement 2 is correct. And it explains 1. If it does not explain 1, then neither 2, okay, that option is not there. 2 will be wrong, then neither 2 nor 3 is correct. Here, one statement 2 is correct and it is explaining statement 1. So, only one of the 2 and 3 is correct and it is explaining statement 1 is the answer. And why clay is not at all porous? Wrong one. Yes, clay is not permeable. Why? Because clay has very small molecules and it has high surface tension. Those small molecules have so much surface tension that they repel water molecules. That's why clay soil or clay is not permeable. Not because they are not porous. They are porous. However, those pores are so small that the surface tension above those pores, okay, will be rejecting the water molecules. Those high surface tension will make it impermeable to the water. So, correct answer is C. One of the statement 2 and 3 is correct and it is explaining statement 1. Statement 1 is correct, permeability. Statement 2 is correct, porosity. Yes, chalk is porous. However, statement 3 is incorrect. Clay is highly porous, but its pores are so small that the surface tension, you need to know what is velocity, what is viscosity, what is surface tension, okay, what is volume, okay, what is density. those concepts, no, asked with respect to atmosphere, with respect to liquid, okay, viscosity of lava. So you need to know this terminology properly. If you know the terminology properly, then you will be able to answer these statements without having any confusion. The surface tension prevents, okay, it acts as an inhibitor for the water molecule to flow inside, making it impermeable. Clear? Understood? So we'll see similar type of question again asked in 2025. This is with respect to Earth's rotation, okay, and Earth's axis shift, rotational axis shift. You need not go whether statement 1 is right or wrong. It is implied in the option that statement 1 is a valid one. So statement 1. Scientific studies suggest that a shift is taking place in the Earth's rotational axis due to natural causes or due to man-made causes in the nature or man-made structure. Earth rotation is changing. It might be slowing or it might be fast. Okay, based on what happens. For the example, we'll see later. Now we'll see the statements first. Statement 2, solar flares and associated coronal mass ejections, CME, right? Solar flares bombarded the Earth's outermost atmosphere with tremendous amount of energy. Yes, the coronal mass ejections of Sun is bombarding the Earth with so much of energy. It is also causing what? The northern and the southern lights, right? Auroras. It's also called auroras. Auroras australis and aurora borealis. So statement 2 is right. But whether this is shifting the Earth's axis, you need to have clarity. Yes, statement 2 is right, my friends. Now we'll keep it. Statement 3. As the Earth's polar ice melts, the water tends to move towards the equator. Earth's poles, okay? Where is ice, maximum ice stores? In the Arctic pole and Antarctic pole, right? In the North Pole and in the South Pole. Once the water melts, where it will go? It will travel towards equator. See, Earth's rotation is based on centripetal force, okay, and the center of gravity. It is tilted 23.5 degrees to its normal. However, the bulging or the movement of water, what it becomes, it changes the centripetal, centripetal force. Earth is like a gyroscope. If you have handled gyroscope, if you are an engineering student, you know the rotational speed changes by the gyroscope's width. So, if this width increases, Earth will slow down. Okay, the Three Gorges Dam. Pardon my spelling, might be mistake. Three Gorges Dam, I think, of China. What happened? It stopped the Yangtze River, right? Yangtze River, it stopped and water got accumulated in the Three Gorges Dam. What happened? There was a bulge. When there is a bulge, Earth acts like a gyroscope. When there is a bulge, what happened? Earth slowed by some microseconds. So every year, some micro fraction of a second, Earth is slowing down due to Three Gorges Dam. Same thing is happening with respect to mass differential or the change of composition of the Earth. As the Earth's polar ice melts, water will move from North and South Pole to equator. When there is a change, okay, with respect to mass in the Earth's, okay, the crust, the change is visible. What happens? Due to centripetal force and the changes with respect to the width of the equator, what happens? There is a slowing of the Earth's movement and the axis also is shifting. You know, this Three Gorges Dam, you can search, Earth has slowed down some microseconds. This also has caused some rotational axis shift. And the change of the mass and the weight also with respect to the movement of water changes the force moving force, rotating force, as well as the axis shift. Statement 3 is right, and statement 3 explains statement 1. However, statement 2, solar flares and associated coronal mass ejections is bombarding the earth, right? But is those auroras australis and auroras borealis, the northern lights, okay, affecting the earth's rotational axis? No. Statement 2 is right, but not explaining statement 1. Statement 3 is right, but explaining statement 1. So 2 and 3 are correct, but both are not explaining. 2 and 3 are correct, but only one is explaining statement 1. That is, statement 3 is explaining statement 1. Here answer is B. My friends, once you have conceptual clarity, this will be should be solved in a minute or less. Okay, you should solve 100 questions in 120 minutes. You have to mark in OMR also. You need to have clarity of concepts, and you need to read through those statements and get the answer as fast as possible without making mistakes. That is the key in UPSC to clear the prelims. Have the knowledge, attend mocks, okay, write. There are free mocks given in the Telegram channel. Take those, write that, and make sure you increase your speed also. You go through the statements, understand, decode the statement properly, and try to get to the answer as early as possible without making wrong. So axis shift is happening. Statement 3 explains this because polarized melts redistribution of the mass. So the centripetal force changes, okay, changing the moment of inertia and the centripetal motion and the rotational axis also. Statement 2 is correct, but does not cause significant rotational shift. Okay, it does not have that effect of rotational axis shift like the mass change of the earth does. The stopping of Three Gorges Dam has actually stopped the rotation with microseconds. For 100 or 200 years, 1 or 2 seconds, earth would have revolved slow because of the man-made thing. Because of the natural global warming, water is redistributing and the rotational inertia and the axis shift is happening because of that also. And that explains 1. The other statement is right, but it is not explaining statement 1. Next question. So I told you about geomorphology, mountain building, plate tectonics, earthquakes, rock cycle, volcanism. Okay, these are very important. The concepts are important. The mapping of this, okay, with respect to earthquakes, with respect to volcanoes are very important. With respect to which are the volcanic belts of the world, that also becomes very important due to volcanism, due to earthquake, and the plate divergence, boundaries, movements also are important in this important theme of the geography. Now we are seeing with respect to volcanic eruption and its product asked in 2024. How many of the following are products of volcanic eruption? Pyroclastic debris. Yes, pyro is something that comes from volcanic ash material. So pyroclastic debris, correct. Ash and dust. Yes, ash will come and the dust particle also will come. That's why aeroplanes will try to avoid when there is a volcanic explosion, eruption, because this ash and dust will clog the engines as well as the cockpit windshield. Then nitrogen compounds. Yes, nitrogen oxide, sulfur dioxide, sulfur compounds, hydrogen sulfide, all these are the byproducts of volcanism, right? Volcanic eruptions. Here, easy question, you can directly go with all the 4. So, volcanoes emit solid fragments like pyroclastic debris, fine particles like ash and dust, and various gases like water vapor, carbon dioxide, hydrogen sulfur, nitrogen oxide, sulfur dioxide. All this will cause, some of the nitrogen oxide and sulfur dioxide, if it mixes with rain, it will become, weak sulfuric acid and nitric acid. That is also called as acid rain, right? Question was asked in 2023 with respect to acid rain, smog. All these are linked to environmental geography. So here all 4 are the answer. Now we'll go to next question. Say rocks, I told you, rock cycle, weathering of the rock, properties of the rocks becomes important. This is geomorphology. Okay, denudation process. Landforms becomes important. Both erosional and depositional of various agents you should be knowing it. The properties you should be knowing. One or two questions will come every year from this important theme also. Statement 1. Again 3 statement has been given in 2024. We'll see. Rainfall is one of the reasons for weathering of rocks. Yes. Both physical weathering happens and chemical weathering happens. Right, there is biological weathering happening that is due to plants, okay, flora and fauna, plants and animals. Statement 2, rainwater contains carbon dioxide in solution. Yes, in the atmosphere, rainwater, okay, mixes with carbon dioxide to become carbonic acid. Okay, carbonic acid it will become. This carbonic acid will weather the rock. Again, rainwater contains atmospheric oxygen. Yes, oxygen will dissolve in the water and oxidation of rocks takes place. If there are any ferrous metal, right? Iron rust is nothing but oxidation of iron is the rust. The byproduct is the rust. Oxidation of any minerals in the rock will lead to weathering. Both these are chemical weathering. Okay. Weak carbonic acid and oxidation. So both 2 and 3 are correct here and both will explain the weathering of rock. So answer is statement option A. Both statement 2 and 3 are correct and it explains statement 1. Rainfall causes chemical weathering. It can cause physical weathering also, no? Due to rain, okay, directly hitting the rock, it can break. Continuous hitting of the rock. Due to movement of water, it can disintegrate rock. But here is speaking about chemical weathering. Dissolved CO2 create what? Weak carbonic acid. Okay, and this carbonic acid break the rock minerals and dissolve oxygen also leads to oxidation. So both of them explains weathering of the rocks. So I hope this has been clear. Now, again I told with respect to mountain, question had come in 2024 with respect to mountain mapping. See, this you have to memorize. You can use mnemonics. You can make a story, but 1-2 questions every year with respect to mapping are important in history, historical places, in geography. Okay, IR is linking with the geography. He has given continents, he has given the mountains, and he has given the types of mountain. Mountain types and which continent. Central Asia, Europe, North America, South America. Central Asia, is it Vosges? No. Vosges is in Europe. This is also wrong. I mean, Central Asia is wrong and it is not a fold mountain. It is a block mountain. You need to know mountain, type of mountain, properties. Okay. With respect to rainfall, orogenic rainfall, right? All that becomes important and types of mountains. Okay. Then Europe, you have Alps. Okay. And it is not a block mountain, it is fold mountain. Again, statement 1, statement 2, both are mismatched. Not only 2, you have 3 tables to match. North America, you have Appalachians, okay? And these are younger fold mountains. Sorry, these are older fold mountains. Young fold mountains are Andes in South America. So, in France, which are there? Alps, right? France, Germany, Europe. But those are not block mountains. Okay. Those are also fold mountains. Here, 3 and 4 are right, 2 are wrong. And normally, when he has given pair, okay, when he swaps, 2 will be wrong, 2 will be right. Here, there is triple swapping that can happen. However, he has gone with 2 pairs. See, this is not a correct method only to put 2 pair. But if you see swap happening, you can go with 2 pair. Here there is no swap and there is 3 tables you have to match. That you have to have conceptual clarity and knowledge. And if you want to blindly go with, that will be your risk to take. But without knowledge, it's not easy to just eliminate. Elimination technique works if 2 are swapped and other 2 will be right. However, you have to match with the mountain and the type of mountain. Here you need to have clarity. This we can do. We know in which place you have the which mountains, but whether they are fold mountains or block mountains, you should have clarity. What about Himalayas? What about Aravallis? Okay, that also you please mention in the comment section and make a proper mapping note. We saw rock cycle, we saw volcanism, we saw mountain. Now we'll see with respect to earthquake. These are all the important properties and geomorphic, okay, processes of earth. This is seismology. Speaking about primary waves and secondary waves. Okay, we have surface wave, we have inner waves with respect to earth waves. The terminology becomes important. Okay, the epicenter. Okay, the terminologies, the scales with respect to magnitude will become important, and types of waves. So in a seismograph, primary waves are recorded earlier than secondary waves. Yes, P wave leads the secondary wave. Statement 1 is correct. In P waves, the individual particles vibrate to and fro in the direction of the wave. So in P waves, what happens if waves are moving like this? Okay, the direction of propagation is parallel or to and fro. The waves move to and fro in the direction. Yes, they are moving in parallel. Whereas S waves, the particular particles vibrate up and down at the right angle. Okay, waves, if they are going like this, vibration will be like this, 90 degree to the, they will be going horizontally or 90 degree to the propagation of the wave. So S wave has a 90 degree. Here it has 0 or 180 degree. Normally in the 0 degree in the direction of the wave. So both the statements are correct. Normally what UPSC does, it will swap S wave with P wave with S wave. One of the pick that it keeps is swapping the concepts. Okay, however here it has given both the properties right with respect to P waves and S waves, but you have to beware or look for the swap. First of all, you need to have conceptual knowledge, and then only you will be able to, okay, see or locate the swap happening and the trap happening. So here both 1 and 2 are correct. So primary waves are longitudinal waves, travel faster, reach sensors first. Secondary waves are transverse, that are perpendicular to the propagation direction of its propagation. You need to know the shadow zones, okay, where questions have come with respect to seismology, earthquakes. Now, with respect to volcanism and the soil formed out of the volcanic eruption. So, the black cotton soil of India has been formed due to weathering off. Okay, asked in 2021. Brown forest soil, fissure of volcanic rock, granite and schist, shale and limestone. Okay, these are various types of rock. However, the black cotton has been formed due to, okay, fissure volcanic rock. Okay, the basalt rock. Okay, mainly in the northern Karnataka and the central, okay, the southern Maharashtra region, where black cotton soil is there, that is formed due to volcanic rock. It's also called regur. Okay, it's characteristics of the Deccan region, the northern Karnataka and southern Maharashtra region, formed due to weathering of basalt rocks created by fissure type volcanic eruption. So I hope this has been clear, where questions are coming with respect to geomorphology and physical process of the earth. So go through these concepts clearly, understand how the question complexity has evolved and how we have to decode the question by understanding examiner mindset, how he is setting the question, and by that you need to focus on those important areas and themes where questions are arising. So in the next class, we'll come up with the next important theme. Till then, take care.